everybody! We're back! We found our way back to the channel. Hello! Today is July 17th, 2023, and you are loved. We are going to be playing The Four Keeps, Dark Star Legacy, Part 5. I feel like I skipped something, which is not only are you loved, but it is also a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to indooradventure.redbubble. No, fuck. Wow. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again on the Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side, or in the description of this video or audio cast down below. But let's say that you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support these fantastic shows even more? Well, guess what, Acorns? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you heard my fuck up earlier, you can go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That's indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. We got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks, and something that was actually really helpful that I wore over the weekend when I was standing in 90+ degree temperature. We got hats. We got hats with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201. This is a hat from a long fucking time ago.
But is that a hat in our merch channel?
I don't know.
Because I think that was a hat for mine.
But with that being said, we got merch. All of the sale of our merch currently goes to help support Doctors Without Borders, and with things being, to put it lightly, a little wonky outside, all of those proceeds are going to go to a great cause. So again, consider going to indooradventure.redbubble.com. It's a good time. Like I said in the intro, when we put on the wrong intro, we are a bit out of practice on as far as these intros go, but I don't think that's going to stop us now. Hey, RJ, who you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm Arjhan. We're back. Today I'm playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard Fighter. You hear that, Levi? Wizard Fighter! We both go by he, him.
Hi everybody, I'm LBHackEmUp. I'm going to be playing Gwen, the halfling barbarian. We both go by she, her. Good to see y'all.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I use he or whatever pronouns. I play Arjhan. Arjhan is a draconian with a lot of money who made his friends get in the submarine. We couldn't make a joke about that whenever that happened, but that's the canon event in our story.
That should be an implosion event in our story?
Not yet.
There's still time.
There is still time.
Oh.
Hi everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener, she, her. Today I'm playing as Coriander, the Elegant Paladin, she, they, and he.
Hello, I am the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be playing everybody else. I am your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, we're all in a little bit of a goofy mood. Wings is blinding themselves for all of you audiocast listeners out there. But let's do a little bit of a recap, because like we said, it has been a hot minute since we last played, so a recap is probably going to do us well. So, last we left off, our heroes had just gotten done spending some time in Praxhall to Grathis, the draconian, well, Dragonborn city of the Dragonborn that had originally come via Planebreaker, a massive meteor that shoots through dimensions, leaving behind different chunks of the dimensions that it had previously gone through in its wake. Now, The interesting thing about this is that you had actually spent time to learn what its trajectory is, where it was going, and you found out that it is actually on a course to go towards where the Dark Star is. Great. It was at that point that you witnessed this giant meteor break through a vertical plane of seemingly nothing in the sky above the ocean, where you witnessed this, again, giant meteor break through. And it is currently in the air, floating not a mile from where you are. It is actually relatively close, all things considered. And it was because of this meteor that you also watched as what looked like an island-sized chunk of Earth fell out of this portal, landed in the water, and then had an air of buoyancy about it. As the waters calmed from this buoyous event, you realized that there were bears everywhere, as the plane breaker had just gotten done coming from the plane of bears. Who would have thought? Certainly not Ursus, the leader of these bear folk, who is a humanoid bear man, who seems honestly a little nonplussed, having been sucked through a portal and deposited into an alternate reality from the one that he knows, where everything was bears. But you have given him promise of things like grass, fish, regular food, and he seems to enjoy the fact that his food is not bear-shaped and does not have fur. Seemingly, fish should not have fur, but what does he know? He is a bear, at least as far as we know. It was at that point that, Gwen, you had decided that you were going to try and figure out what the best way to sort of approach this whole assault on the Dark Star was going to be, and you spent some time on the beach figuring that out. Arjhan, you hold yourself up in Caelum's curious cabin, because as a former blood hunter and man of the woods, when there is generally one bear, there is a problem. There are now a multitude of bears inside of this place. It does not bode well. But what does bode well is Cori acting as a sort of intermediary, being one of the few individuals on your team that can speak Sylvan, to relay to these bear folk what their current situation is, what the lot that they have been dealt in life is currently showing them. And it is showing a strange, buoyant island in the middle of the ocean where everything is bears. Now, it is of note that when we ended last session, we had faded over to Stone Mantle R&D, where 3 individuals, being Bridget, Kat, and, of course, our wonderful pink dad, Yuglon, were all gazing upon the completed Mechanical Tyrant. This ship that you all have been working on now for a set of real-world years, and also in-game quite a long time. On top of that, but it has been something that has been of high importance to reach completion, as its eventual completion was a point of contest when Gwen was initially bringing up, okay, how are we going to get to Caius? Can we take the ship? A lot of the answers for the Mechanical Tyrant was, well, it's not ready yet, so we really can't take it. You have since received the ding that your Mechanical Tyrant is finished. It is ready for its maiden voyage, should you so choose to take it wherever you would like. Now, that being said, the bears here inside of this building will have their full of berries and nuts and fish and whatever things you can fit inside of picnic baskets of holding. And they will, with all of this food and all of their goodies, take it back to Bear Island. It seems like they are very curious to try and establish, at least not necessarily an order of things, but to check. You know, some of their homes were on that island. Ursus claimed that they lived inside of a cave on that island as well. And if this thing is buoyant, most likely it is not going to stay in its current location in the ocean for very long. So they want to try and return to that island. Now, they are in the process of exiting out of this building. They give you their very heartfelt bearish thanks. And they will begin making their way to Bear Island, leaving your group sort of to kind of sit and contemplate what it is you have seen. You also witness that a group of Dragonborn that had come with you had all thanked you for waiting with them and showing them where the Planebreaker was as they returned back to this Planebreaker, as they believe that they will eventually be able to make their way back to their home plane. Now, that being the case, where our scene currently takes place, Caelum's curious cabin on a sandbar in the middle of the ocean. There is a brief calm, and as this calm hits, I think, Arjhan, that's when you would get the notification that the Mechanical Tyrant is completed, and they are ready to show it off by the time when you make your way down to the Hells.
So the transit's done.
Oh, great.
Okay. All right. Are we gonna go? Do you want to see it, or are they gonna send it to us?
I believe we would need to go down to the house to retrieve it.
We would also need to do a test run to see if everything's working proper.
Okay. All right. I'm down.
Would I know the length of time it is between Corsair and Tenarth?
Between Corsair and Tunarath, you could probably get there in... I want to say you could probably get there in, like, a day or two. It's really not that far away from where you are. Which is why, thankfully, there is not a huge presence of Mind Flayer or other Illithid, at least from what the Gith were aware of. There was that incident where, you know, the Mind Flayers had adapted to an aquatic underwater lifestyle, and that was just a whole other story arc. But from what you are aware, it seems like it is relatively close.
You could say it was water beneath the waves.
This guy gets it.
Where are my spells? So we are heading to the Hells.
Do we have anything else that we need to do here or anywhere else?
Oh, we need to. We wanted to talk to one of the spacefarers, right?
I mean, it's 2 days to Tenarth.
Okay, we can talk on the way. Maybe call Bill and Ted, or
Bill and Ted live in Tunarath.
Just kidding.
Totally fine. Right, so get here. So your group decides to be able to visit the Hells. Excellent. You have many ways of getting there. I would say because you are, taking your time as far as there not being an immediate threat, a mega bear or anything like that, that you don't necessarily have to worry about as far as getting to the Hells. You've done this before. You've all done this a multitude of times. I think that the Hells are probably the plane that you've spent the most time in outside of the material plane. I think that Hells and Feywild is a pretty fierce contender for the amount of time that you have actually been there. So no worries about getting down into the Hells. When you arrive in Phlegethos and go towards Stone Mantle R&D, there are the engineers that are working here. You usually have seen them in a fervor. It seems like they have always had a project to work on. But at this point in time, they are not working on projects. They're celebrating because the biggest project that they have been working on is completed, and they are very pleased with it. And when you arrive, you can see that it is a massive structure that is made of this almost like an oil slick cover on this darkened metal. Like, it has a nice sheen to it. And it is just this massive shape of a mechanical looking dragon. It seems that the variants of the mechanical tyrant that you have piloted before were used for either your submersible variant, or they just decided that, you know what, bigger is better. What we're planning on doing with this is bigger than the room that we have fit. So thankfully, some enlargement spells ended up going a long way after they had gotten the initial build of this thing done. And the site that you see before you is maybe about 90 feet long in total, from the tip of its metallic draconic snout to the end of its tail. Now, the interesting thing about this is that its neck looks a lot rounder than you would expect it. It seems almost like it protrudes out and doesn't really have like a chin and everything to go along with it. And you will discover why as they give you the tour of this beast. Now, as they and as you arrive and sort of look, and again, you are watching as these engineers, these craftsmen are celebrating. They have tapas that they are eating. They're enjoying a variety of drinks and beverages. And Yuglon notices his daughter, his friends. And he, I think while you were all sort of like looking at this, you just... "Oh, I've missed you all so much. Hello!" And Yuglon like rushes up and just swoop into a hug Cori. And like you can see like his teeth are getting a little bit sharper the longer that he stays here in the Hells. Maybe, you know, like the air here isn't as good for somebody as Yuglon, but you know what? He's
incredible.
He's doing the best that he possibly can. He's having a blast here. And it seems like and as he's expressing this, Cat kind of comes up and greets herself as well. Just, I didn't think that we'd actually be seeing all of you today.
Hi.
Congratulations on a project finished.
It has taken us, if I'm understanding Bridget and Kat correctly, of course. I mean, I'm not head overseer to the project. I just lended a hand here and there. But I believe it has taken several years to get this up and running. At least from initial plan to fruition.
Yes, there have been many design specs. Sorry.
Oh, no. The design specs, wonderful. We've been having a blast with this, and I'm sure you will be too. Now, would you like the grand tour?
Yes, please.
This way. And Yuglon will begin escorting you through. Now, I do have, for the Four Keeps chat, I am going to be putting a breakdown of the abilities and stats for the Mechanical Tyrant. And then I also do have a layout for that as well that I will be sending here. Now, the Mechanical Tyrant, once you get a better look at it, I have drawn a map. Hooray! There are ladders that end up going to the top deck where you can see that there is a ballista that faces outward. Where this deck is actually seated is going to be between the front two shoulder blades where the wingies are, because even though it does not necessarily need them for propulsion's sake, I mean, you still want to have wingies to make it look like a giant dragon and not just, you know, like some sort of space lizard. It's not as fun that way. Now, once you go down, there is a set of steps that actually take you from that top deck onto the lower deck. And in this sort of middle deck, You see that there are, in the center, there seems to be like a war table that has some chairs kind of centered around it, and what looks like a touchscreen map that when Yuglon taps twice, you can see shows a like 3D area, almost a rendering of like where your ship is in location to things around it, which is perfect. It seems like it has a range on it, though. It's not going to show you everything, and it's not like Google Maps where you can kind of like go past where your vision is. It sort of seems to just show where in it's almost like a like 300 to 400 feet around where your ship is to kind of give you an idea of how best to navigate. Speaking of, if you look behind you on the ship towards the hindquarters of the mechanical tyrant, that is where your helm is currently situated. Now, the best part about a spell jamming helm / a mechanical tyrant helm is that you do not need to be in the front facing cabin. You do not need to have a steering wheel. You just need to have a magical hat that you wear in order to make this machine go. Thankfully, this has been stationed in the back area to, again, kind of have a little bit more defensive capability, with the room being next to it, I believe, being more of a... at this point, they have it set up for the potential of a med bay. But if you don't decide to use it for a med bay, no one's going to be upset. It just has like kind of like that steel table where it looks like a large to medium sized creature could possibly lay down on and have work done on them in case they need actual medical attention and not just magical medical attention, and for when people are out of spell slots. Looking down into this sort of sub-cargo area, because it looks like there are stairs that go down, but on this centralized inner chamber, you see what looks like a bank vault, like a vault-sized door that is on this length of metallic tube, and next to it, on either side, are a series of what look to be 5 large balls made of iron. Yuglon is very excited about this, as this is a cannon. So if you are able to load up one of these cannonballs into the cannon, the dragon's mouth will actually fire a giant-sized cannonball from it to inflict damage in case you end up needing to do that. It's a variety vessel. Now, the cannonballs are rather heavy. They do weigh about 10 tons each, so it does take quite a few people in order to lift them. However, yeah, they are aware of Gwen and her strength. So you'll also be in space. There will be like a gravitational field. There's a centralized gravitational field in the ship as well, for if you do decide to take this beyond the stars. Thankfully, all of that's been taken care of. They got it figured out. Now, below deck, there is a series of 6 rooms, in total 3 on either side, and then a cargo room at the end. It seems they had questions regarding to your bunk situation. If it was the 4 of you wanting to take your own rooms, they can set up cots, they can set up beds, that sort of thing. But they did not know what the situation as a whole was going to be like, so they didn't want to, establish beds for you all. But as far as the main mechanics of this dragon, they have that figured out. Now, in addition, for the folks at home, to the Giant's Cannon, you also have grappling claws. So your ship, because it is shaped like a dragon, has the capability and the, abilities to grab onto things while you are either flying through space. So if you need to pick up cargo necessarily, or if you want to latch on to somebody else's ship, you are more than able to do these things as well. The breath is tied to the breath weapon that this giant cannon is also capable of using is tied to what Kat would describe as an elemental coil, and it harnesses the byproducts of traveling the Astral Sea. and you can actually recharge the ship's breath weapon. It won't recharge the actual cannon part of it, but there is still a breath weapon that your ship can have, because it is a dragon. You've put the time and materials in it to make a giant metal dragon. We're going to give you a giant metal dragon that you can fly around. So that, as far as they have for you. Again, kind of getting into the crunch of it, it has 300 hit points, an AC of 19, and a threshold of 20. So you have to do 20 base damage to the ship before you can even do any sort of damage past that threshold point and start chipping away at the overall HP. Again, space is scary. Other places you might want to take this are scary. Having a little bit of a defense makes it not as bad. The other addition with the giant cannon is that it also has a set automation. If there are no crew to load this, it will automatically reload after 3 rounds. It does still require a crew member to fire or some other means of making this thing detonate. When you hit with one of these cannonballs, it is a +10 to hit, and it will deal 16 D10 bludgeoning damage from one of these cannonballs, because it is a giant metal ball that weighs 10 tons that you are hurling into space. You would hope that it would deal at least a sizable chunk. Thank you to chat for reminding me to take a sippy. And as Kat and Yuglon are showing you through, Bridget will actually approach and say, well, I hope this is to your liking. I know that originally you were probably thinking for something a little bit smaller, but that was when y'all were a little bit smaller as well. Like, you didn't have your wings yet, I think, when this was all like initially being talked about. So we sort of had to make it more of a grand scale. That, and, you know, y'all are dealing with end of the world stuff, and if Stone Mantle R&D can help, we're gonna. Especially after you hooked us up with one of the best workers that we have had. That guy's wild. And, like, Bridget thumbs over to Yuglon, and Yuglon is like, he has completed work on this thing. But like a true artist, your work is never done, and he's immediately just like, oh, I'll just use my multi-tool to like fine-tune parts of this here. And like, Kat has to swat at him to get him to stop working on the thing that he has presented to you as done. So we figured, you know, like, you wanted dragon shape, why not go whole hog with it? You know, praise the queen and all that. Get you at least like as close to a dragon as we can, and maybe even, you know, something that a dragon might find formidable, even like it doesn't want to try and pluck out of the sky.
How will we get it out of here?
Well, considering as this is a special feature of a machine, we have mages set up and ready to teleport all of you to wherever you need to go, as long as you pick a place where you want it. Obviously, we would prefer if you did a test run here in Phlegethos, just so that way, in case anything breaks down, we can bring it back immediately to the shop, but we totally get if you just want to take this thing and go. Caelum, an important thing to note as well, it is not marked in the map, but the room in the upper right-hand corner, closest to the cargo bay, has a spell circle that is actually keyed in to the ship itself.
Amazing. I'm gonna study that and put that down in my list of places we can teleport to. Excuse me. Shuffle.
Yeah, go right ahead. We
So
figured y'all had a wizard, probably wanted something like that here as an escape measure. It felt like a much better option than like giving y'all keys that could like teleport you back in the submarine like we did last time. And you see Bridget sort of like gives a look over to Yuglon, and Yuglon's like, keys are fun! Look, I'm wrong for liking keys, fine. And they seem to go, he has been trying to put more levers and doohickey. This clearly his first major craft that he's participated in.
Did you have anywhere in mind for the test drive?
Well, honestly, I mean, there's the fields of Phlegethos. I heard y'all made a pretty big impact on Avernus. If you wanted to just, I'm sure, I mean, Zariel probably has individuals that she doesn't mind you pointing a cannon at. From what I heard of that whole Orcus summoning thing, apparently there are a few insurrectionists that tried to make a name for themselves on that same battle, and it did not turn out well for them, which is good, because Zariel... Totally fine with her running the first.
You were on Phlegethos?
You are on Phlegethos, that is correct.
Yeah. So Bridget said she would prefer if we would do the test run of it here.
That is correct, yeah.
Phlegethos or
the
hells, the greater hells, or just not going across wild space.
Not going across wild space, at least until you have kind of figured out how things work on the ship. But you can travel through the greater hells. It seems that from their general testing, this thing is relatively quick. As far as a speed goes, you have a fly speed of 50 as a ship. So you do actually make some pretty good travel.
Kat, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Where are the bathrooms?
And she pauses. I think you're a smart enough boy to figure out where to go. And she pats you on the shoulder. And Yuglon pauses and just... If I told you that we installed a porthole under the stairs so the GM doesn't have to remake any additional rooms...
That's...
Would you believe him?
Knights in the Courtyard.
Is it one of those things where, like, you pull the lever and it just sucks it out into space?
Yes. Well, you put the cover on it first because it creates a compression chamber that really just, like, gets rid of it. Yeah.
I'm gonna pee all over the universe.
It will turn into icicles before that because of the chill of space, but, we'll let you dream.
Thanks.
We won't ruin the
space
magic
cold?
anymore. Very. So try and stay in your oxygen bubble when you can.
How do we know where the end is?
You'll
see
know.
it?
Well,
Okay.
you'll stop breathing and you will lose your gravitational pull and start sort of drifting.
Yeah.
So you
I'm sorry.
probably don't want to do that.
You keep saying this word, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's just me.
Which one?
What it?
Pull?
Gravity.
Oh. Okay. And Yuglon grabs, he'll grab a rock. Okay, so it's up here.
Mm-hmm.
Drops it, falls, and it hits the ground. So the reason why it fell is not because it is heavy. The reason why it fell is because it is being pulled to a core at the center of the plane. In this case, it is a big, hot, molten iron thing. Is it iron? It might just be condensed souls.
Yuglon. Hold on. There is a magic force that keeps our feet on the ground, and it's called gravity.
Oh,
What
okay.
Caelum said.
Makes sense.
And he just looks at you and just, thank you.
I knew where you were getting at.
So,
What that bastard's name is? Piece of shit.
We have applied that magical force, as you know it, to the core of this ship. So, radiating in an area around it, much like my daughter's auras, or any of your other magic effects that make a ball. Imagine the center of the ball is the ship, and you don't want to go past where the edge of that ball is. Because it will be cold, it will be painful, and you might live longer than you should.
Hey.
And I know that doesn't sound like a compliment, but it really is.
Thanks. I know I'm pretty tough. Okay, so just as a reference,
Yes.
This is a big dragon, right?
Uh-huh, yes.
And if I'm understanding right, the middle of it is pulling us down, or the bottom of it?
The tummy.
Okay.
Imagine that the center of this, of what's pulling you, and he points to the table. Is that?
Okay. So what if we fall off, we'll just kind of fall back to the ship, probably, like we don't go too far. What about the bottom? Do we like get repelled from it?
Imagine you had shoes with maple sap or a pine sap underneath, and you could stand upside down on things.
Okay.
Now,
so you can stand on the bottom,
you can
too.
stand upside down, yes.
Okay. But there is no up in space. I know that.
Well, that depends.
Oh. Okay.
Because
I feel like
we're getting
we're
off
getting
topic.
beyond my thing. But I think I get it.
I think
understand.
that the real takeaway is don't free dive into space.
Yes, you've scared me enough with the no air and coldness. I don't like the cold.
Well, I feel like in order to satisfy this curiosity, we have to make the maiden voyage between here and Tenerife.
Yes. Can I fire the cannon, please?
We recommend at least once, and we will refill the cannon as best we can. We'll put an additional one. We'll load one already in so you can keep your stock of cannon fire. And when he says that, Bridget, who these, all of these giant cannonballs are there. And like Yuglon said, they weigh far too much. But you see that Bridget is going to cast a spell, Caelum, that you know well, as she touches the floor of the mechanical tyrant, as she casts Animate Object. And you feel this large ship that you are in sort of like shake a little bit, and then kind of scoot back as that vault door opens. And then, like, it is one of those, like, balance ball games. A big old cannonball just sort of, like, rolls into the loading area, and then shifts forward. It pops in. Vault door closes. And Bridget will then effectively cancel the spell, so you are not inside of a borderline sentient giant ship. Which realistically is not as weird as being inside a fully sentient house where you sleep regularly. But honestly, the Four Keeps have had a time getting here, so why not?
I'm ready to serve my duty.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
That was based on a book, guys.
Yeah.
Good book.
John Rico was supposed to be Filipino. I'm just saying.
So, head to Tenerife.
Sounds good.
Where would we like to start?
So, if you choose to start here in the Hells, They do have a launching pad.
Okay. What is the distance between the hells to hell space to Tenerife?
We will say that with the there are going to be relay points that they'll have set up, so they can get you to Tenerife fairly easily. Timeline, you're probably looking at like 2 days to get there from here. Tops. It also helps that, you know, this R&D is owned by a prominent person here in the industry, the son of Belial, who also kind of doubles as he chose not to rule the Hells. He wanted to do this instead. So from where you are, Uglon, I think, would take a brief aside to you, Cori, as your group is like kind of gearing up. And in your cargo hold, there is about a month's worth of rations, as eating good berries all of the time doesn't really give you a whole lot of nutritional value. It keeps you full, but like there's not a whole lot going on. So they have a variety of, not soul food that they would be giving you because they know you guys don't partake in that sort of thing.
But I love fried chicken and BBQ.
Oh boy, you can stay in the Hells all you like, because that is a lot of what we got going on here. There is
They
a
have
wing stop in the
600
Hells, but they will never
have
deliver to your address.
They have 666 herbs and spices.
Some of them you can't pronounce.
So, Cori, your dad would come up to you and just say, I feel like I say this more often than a father rightly should, but please don't die while you're up there.
I'm going to do my best not to.
I'd like for you to be able to meet your sister. We're having a girl. And he sort of like pats you on the shoulder.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd love to meet her as well.
We don't have a name yet. And I'd really rather not. I don't want to name a child when I'm in mourning, so if you could like really do me a solid and not do that, that would be
Right.
great.
I
Yeah.
like I said, I'm going to do my darndest, Father. I've learned a lot since the last time, and there's more to live for.
And Uglon sort of like looks back at Kat, who like Prager's operating like like an arc welder, like on a piece of metal without proper facial protection, just like cackling in the background. He's like, I know how that feels.
And if worse comes to worse, then my spring season is with Olivier, so
Wait, you
I won't be all gone.
Were you able to separate them?
Yes. Yes, I was. Right now, my summer season is off helping to translate for a bunch of bears.
Why?
But she will be coming with me.
When you say translating for a bunch of bears, did these bears suddenly, like, was it like a wild magic surge? They all got awakened and now only speak bear?
No, they come from a dimension of bears where everything is bears.
Where
only
is
speak
this
Sylvan.
wonderful land located? I have just completed a massive project. I may be going on sabbatical to this bear island that you speak of.
I'm not letting my twink dad go to Bear Island.
We couldn't make that joke during Pride Month.
My twink dad goes to Bear Island. Sounds like the name of an anime. Not gonna lie.
No, you'd have to include that
No,
one
it's a-
time at the start of it.
It's a Dream Daddy expansion.
Oh my god.
It's a Chuck Tingle novel.
So unfortunately, you do not let your dad know, but there has been
I absolutely
okay,
do.
cool.
I Wings had to make the joke, but Cori is fully on board. Like, she's so excitable. She's chip off the old block.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
And it's
Let's enable this.
as well, speaking of, as you are walking away, you see Yuglon pull out a sending stone and just, Hadorai, it's me. There's an island, sentient bears. It's in the middle of the ocean. We have to figure it out. I'm bringing Cat. See you soon.
Next time I see him, he's just going to be a bear person.
He will have entirely acclimated to bear society. It'll be incredible. So, yeah, bro times at Bear Island. So your dad gives you this rather meaningful send-off as your group begins for their departure. Now, when you get onto once you've like gotten into position in the mechanical tyrant and kind of figured out, okay, like strapped in, you got like, it's like the X straps as well, so that way you know that it's like super safe, but it still doesn't feel, it feels very well put together, but there is an element of danger where you're just like, are we really gonna just like rocket into wild space in this thing? And from the helm room, from where who is going to be piloting this wonderful craft?
Caelum's read the manual.
Who has the attunement slot?
Surprisingly, the wizard. Yeah, and we'll say that you were in the process of attuning while you were doing the while you were studying the spell circle that's here in the ship. But Caelum, as you sit in the captain's chair of this large mechanical beast, it swivels to what looks like a large pane of glass. And the pane of glass has a single beam of light that shoots across it and then kind of flickers and fills. And you can see what looks to be through the eyes of the tyrant itself, through the eyes of this large mechanical beast. And you watch as it swivels, and you see that it looks like it's facing a wall, and you all can feel the ship leaning back until it is at an angle. And Caelum, you are seeing that it is at a wall. It is not actually pointing at a place where you can go. And you hear initialization sequence.
Hello?
Countdown. 10.
What?
9.
Quickly hits a
8.
button for the comms.
Gideon?
7.
Everyone, please brace
6,
yourselves.
On what?
5,
Chairs.
4, 3, 2. Have a nice flight. And as it finishes the have a nice flight, you all feel this like rocket propulsion force as it, like, there are like attachment thrusters to help get you going as the mechanical tyrant rushes towards what looks to be this wall face. You see that there is a section of wall that has part of this ramp that separates, and it continues into a further tunnel. And as you go, you feel like you are maybe like 10 feet away from the wall each time it rises up and continues out into where you can see more of this tunnel, until eventually the final one goes. And rather than showing a new open sky, there is just this glowing green thing at the end of this wall. And we say thing because it doesn't look like any portal that you've seen before. It doesn't look like a gate that you've seen before, but you've only seen a gate being cast by one person typically. This seems like it is a combination effort using a mixture of magic and technology to help propel you further into the beyond. And Caelum, as you are I'm assuming Caelum probably is like screaming the entire time because it's like you were almost about to hit a wall each time that it opens up. There's like a giant popcorn kernel that bursts next to you as you're on this giant ride. And you shoot into that green plasmid, like plasmid barrier, and you can feel that there is this like a reversal of how fast you were going. It's not like a complete shock, but it is a fierce stutter in your propulsion until eventually you break through, and then there is no rumbling. There is no metal grinding on metal. There is no hellish heat. There is no cackling of devils as they watch this mechanical creation that they have spent years working on, soaring past at blazing speeds. And Caelum, as you look from the captain's seat, you are surrounded by stars. Now, to be fair, some of these star formations do look like they are figures in a gratuitous amount of pain, while other star formations look like they are devils simply enjoying themselves at the sight of the other star formations in a gratuitous amount of pain. But you have found yourself flying through hell space, this sort of outer area, and looking back through your rear cameras, you can just see what looks like the angriest red marble behind you that has like lava free bursting up out of it. And like, it's a pretty high arc to be able to see lava from space, but you know, Bator makes it work. And as you are looking back, kind of look forward, is just like, okay, I think we've done it. I think we're good. You begin to navigate. Now, the rest of the party, you heard the countdown from 10 to enjoy your flight, and then the feeling of that rocket propulsion as you left the terrestrial atmosphere of the hells. You now find yourself in space. You are no longer, like, it feels a little bit lighter than it was before. The sound, if you had tinnitus before, horrible. If you didn't have tinnitus before, it is definitely the bit from Archer where you were going mop for at least a little bit while the ringing calms down. But you find yourself flying in this large mechanical dragon, shooting through space. And you see that, Caelum, there is, like, on your screen, there's a little side screen that pops up. And from what you're guessing, from all of the technology that you've been able to see of that is presented on the mechanical tyrant, maybe it was because you were closer to the hells. Maybe it's something to do with the rocky launch. But you see Bridget's face in the corner, and her head is about profile in this little window that occurs. And she says, Tyrant 1, can you hear me? But her head stays there, but her lower mouth just sort of like claps up and down.
Oh, the Star Fox 64.
Yes. And it seems like some part of the transponder broke, and now that is just what anyone communicating with your ship looks like, is this little...
Tyrant 1 reporting in. 1 second. Crew check. Everyone alive?
I did not realize how much my ears were going to pop, or the fact that I have ears.
I think I threw up on myself. Did someone else throw up? Was it me?
I can't tell if I'm on the floor or the ceiling.
Tyrant 1 here. Status screen.
You hear affirmative, Tyrant 1. Considering launch, a success.
We really have to do something about the bumps.
And the response is, no can do, Tyrant 1. That is a They are quite enjoyed by the residents here at R&D.
Copy that, home base.
It also shakes off any hangers-on.
Oh, well, smart. We are now going to plot a course out. We will respond back when we hit our destination. Thanks again, Kat. This is actually fantastic.
And you see Kat's face appear in the little side bit. And it is just like her mic is peaking. Like, clearly they did not balance it. And just, oh, that's so great to hear! It, like, echoes through the ship.
I feel like this is a personal attack.
And yeah, she suggests that you test things out. There is an asteroid field that's not too far between the barriers of hell space and where the entrance to the greater Astral Sea is. Feel free to use the Giant's cannon just on some asteroids. Seeing as how it's hell space, there aren't as many other ships as you would think, but it seems like people don't often want to take a spaceship into the hells. Seems like that's generally seen as not a smart thing. Spaceship exiting the hells, great time. Fantastic time.
All right, we'll do some test combat runs on the asteroid field in hellspace. We'll report back any findings. But from here on, au revoir.
Don't know what that means, Tyrant One, but have a great trip.
It's goodbye. Caelum will flip to the onboard PA system. Sorry, combat stations.
What are we doing? What are we fighting?
We aren't fighting anything. There is a major asteroid field out there, so we might want to have weapons out to clear a path. Also, we'll probably be able to blow up some shit.
You want me on the same place that I was last time?
Which place is that?
Either right claw or left claw. I don't remember.
That might have been Simlac Caelum.
Oh. Well, should I take the left one or the right one?
Dealer's choice, I guess. I don't know. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Gwen, do you have a preference?
I would prefer if somebody could get this off of me, but right side, strong side.
Gwen, report to the bridge for prestidigitation.
Yes, Captain. Click, click.
All right. So, Gwen, you are prestidigitated by the captain as Caelum does not take his eyes off of being able to navigate the ship. It seems like while wearing this helm, Caelum, you and the Tyrant are... It's not like a Pacific Rim level like sync, but you are able to at least control like the direction that this is. And from your experiences polymorphing yourself, true polymorphing yourself, any kind of polymorph really, into a dragon of sorts is actually, it seems to be in your benefit as to how best to operate this vessel.
Well, this is weird. Kind of cool, but weird. Well, so are we ready? Are we ready for me to punch it?
What are we punching?
The throttle.
Gwen, you don't really know what he means by throttle. But he is asking if you want to punch something, and you are at one of the claw stations. So yeah, you're ready to punch stuff.
All right, I don't know if I can actually throttle something, but Cori and I might have to like work together on that one. I guess if it's small enough, one claw could get around the throat of something.
No, it says right here in the manual that the throttling happens in the jaws. It's grappling jaws and just regular claws, I guess.
Oh. Is it something you need me to do, Caelum?
No. Arjhan had
Okay.
something.
The cannon says it requires 4 crew.
4 crew, but there is a automation with it. So if you wanted to like use the cannon every turn, then you would have to have like all hands like moving this giant thing into the loading, set it, fire. Versus if you just kind of let the conveyor belt keep feeding the cannons in, it'll proc every 3 turns.
Right.
And then you'll still need somebody to hit the big red button that says blast.
In vehicles, if it says that it requires this number of crew, that's to keep it operating every round.
Yes.
Full ahead.
You wanted to use the cannon.
Okay, you want to use the cannon?
Gwen wanted to use. I'm.
Well, when
offered.
we're ready for it.
Oh,
Sorry,
are we-
when we're
are we
ready
not?
for it.
Okay.
Okay. So you're near enough to this asteroid field. You kind of like pull up as this mechanical dragon to said asteroid field. Asteroids within reach.
Make your attacks.
All right.
Gwen, did you want to use the cannon?
I do, but I'm already at this thing, so I'm gonna try one of these guys.
Okay.
Well, to conserve on cannonballs, we could use the breath weapon. It recharges after a while.
Oh, they gave us an extra one, and we should. I mean, if we're gonna do it, I could just, try it. All right. What am I rolling?
D20 plus
10? No.
For the claws, yeah, it's D20 plus 10.
Okay.
Plus 10 attack on the claws.
Am I not? Oh, I see.
Yeah, the only thing that does not have a plus 10 is going to be the jaws.
16.
16. It is a giant rock, thankfully. So Gwen, as you see, and like where each of the stations are, like for the claws and everything like that, there is like a little viewport, so that way you can see what you were doing. And you just watch as this giant claw like cups over the top of this rock, free floating in space, and you just pat it down. And like it doesn't like break through the rock, but it is like your claw moves with a swiftness, but it seems like it's still kind of like getting used to the lack of environmental forces being applied.
Okay, that's a lot slower than I thought it was. I'll get it better next time.
Okay, Cori, you are on second claw.
Initializing. Natural 1.
A natural 1. Okay, Cori. So as your claw goes out and strikes onto this meteor, you see, or this asteroid, because it is not plummeting towards the surface of a terrestrial body. As your claws hit it, they sink in. I'd like for you to roll for damage.
Oh, dang. Okay. What's damage on these claws?
The damage on the claws are 3d6 plus 8.
Oh. Stand by. Just typing incorrectly. 16.
16? Okay. So, Cori, as with your natural 1, the claws hit, and you see them scrape down onto this asteroid. Now, the funny thing about asteroids, a lot of you have never been to space before, so maybe this isn't like a super uncommon thing, but generally asteroids are not supposed to scream. when you hit them with a claw attack. And as your claw kind of rakes down and this asteroid tilts, you see that it actually turns to face you as there is a giant singular eye inside of this meteor with a large mouth, as what you can only guess is a beholder disguised as a rock, begins to tumble and turn towards you. Now, you've caught this creature by surprise. So, Caelum, you still have a thing that you would like to do is from the dragon, the mechanical tyrant's eyes. You can see this. And Arjhan, you are at the cannon station. And Gwen said that she was busy. What would the two of you like to do? And then once the two of you have gone, if this creature is still standing or you have not decided to leave expeditiously, we will roll into initiative.
Hey,
Can I
sorry.
see from where I'm at?
Oh yeah, no. Each area that has a means of attack has either a viewport to let you know when and where you need to attack, or it is the ballista on the top, which is in the open air.
Okay. Also, are the cannon and the jaws, are those the same station?
The Jaws Caelum is operating from the navigator helm.
Okay.
And then the cannon, if the jaws are closed, they will open to allow the cannon to fire. Alternatively, if the jaws are attached to something and you choose to fire the cannon, you are still able to. So do with that as you will.
I will say, oh shit, oh fuck, oh no. I will hit the thing. I rolled a 3, so that's 13 to hit.
Okay. So a 13 is not enough to hit an eyemonger, as just, oh shit, oh fuck, it hit the button as this, like it echoes, and you can feel it reverberate through the entire ship as this 10-ton cannonball gets launched from the dragon's maw and just goes like right towards where the beholder is, but the beholder is still like kind of tumbling. So as it hits, that air current that's being released with it just sort of like whips them up, and they are like spinning so fast in the air, but there's just now this giant metal ball that you have rocketed into space.
I miss.
Over the intercom, I don't know what's gonna happen if we get hit by a dispel eye ray, so I'm getting us out of here.
Good plan.
Double move the tyrant away from this thing.
And you have with a double move, you travel 100 feet in your turn. So just like, nope and away. And this beholder, this eyemonger, if you were interested in a stat block, sort of like finally stops its rotation, just it like tries to like shoot a beam at you, but it seems like they are not really beam-like creatures. It seems like that was more like built in to who it is, but then it tries to like float closer to you. It uses its full round movement to try and chase after you, but it can only move 40 feet in a round. So you are just like, full throttle, haul ass. No, 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 no.
Very, very bad. Very, very bad.
And after several rounds of this thing doing its best to hover after you, and you having a full-on get the fuck out fly speed, you are able to completely avoid the rest of that encounter with this creature. And as the four of you are sort of like, oh fuck, okay, that could have been bad, and reconvening after like using your weapons to try and attack this creature, that is where we are going to go on our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see all of you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. I pressed the
Hello,
button.
everybody, and welcome back to the stream. I'm LBHackEmUp, and we are doing Playthings of the Gods Season 3 tonight. We're going to have everybody go around and introduce themselves and who they're playing tonight, starting as always with RJ.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. Today I'm playing Alita, who is a Demir Eladrin bard from an island that can't be reached by boat, who only uses the luck feat on skill challenges.
Oh, hi. I'm Connor. I play a quick-tempered wood elf cleric from the Savage Frontier who actually kind of wants the bad guys to win.
Hey, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener, she, her. Today I'm playing as Bonko, whose pronouns are he, Bonko, and they are a garden variety Bonko.
Simon?
Simon.
Yes. Hello. My name is Simon, also known as the Indoor Adventurer. And today I'm going to be playing as Karathis. They are a Simic hybrid, bard, barbarian, monk multi-class. And we're just here to have a good time. We only use bardic inspiration for ourselves, and we use we pronouns.
All right, take it away, Simon.
All right, so last you left us on Playthings of the Gods, there was a static that appeared over your television screen, and it said, now back to return to Indoor Adventures. So it looks like there's a scheduling conflict. I mean, that's why we're not getting One Piece next week, so might as well happen at this show. But hello, everybody, and welcome back. So last we left off, we tried to attack an asteroid belt, a really unsuspecting asteroid belt, and technically you did. A natural one ended up hitting part of the asteroid belt, and it turned out that it wasn't asteroids all along. It was actually a beholder in the shape of an asteroid. Now, to note, this beholder does not have I-beams. For what it is worth. It seems like it has an anti-magic gullet. So the real problem would be if it tried to eat you. So apologies to the GOAT/MVP of this campaign, which has been the clay golem inside of a creature after Caelum has been eaten. RIP. Now, that being said, you are all currently having just gotten done firing all of your weapons, making sure that you could at least try and fight against this thing. And it turns out that a +10 to hit, while good, does not help when the people operating this machinery, you're very new at this. It's not that you did it poorly, but it's like you're much more used to holding an axe in your hand, or a sword, or a crossbow/gun. Pretty much anything other than pressing buttons to make stuff go. But I'm sure you'll get it the next time when it's important. But for right now, it looks like you have successfully escaped this eye-monger, and are flying out directly from hellspace deep into the Astral Sea. That being said, you do have about 2 days travel until you get to Tunarath. Is there anything that y'all want to do while you are on the ship? Establishing rooms. It looks like you currently have a set number of spare rooms as well. Even if you didn't decide to double up in the actual rooms themselves, you would still have a minimum of 2 additional rooms. So what are some features that you all would have liked to have had installed into this here vehicle? And we'll say that with hindsight, that you were able to get such facility. So, for example, one thing that I, when I was building this out, people suggested a library to possibly have a repository for books, or a place to kind of just hang out. I mean, you are on a ship, you do have your own individual rooms, and there is a door at the end of the cargo bay that is not actually connected to any room, but it is a doorway with a silvered key handle, because Yuglon knows of your connection to Gideon, thus allowing for, if you needed to do anything even on the material plane in terms of travel, you'd be able to do that as well, with a means of being able to get back to the tyrant.
And we have a spell circle as well, so we can have Gideon drop us off there using a spell circle inside of them.
That's correct.
Caelum would like a cartography table.
Okay.
And if we have any maps of the Astral Sea or like anything useful to help us navigate.
So from what so for what you were given, you have a map of hell space, which is super helpful. And you have general directions on how to get from hell space to Tuneroth. It seems like mapping out the greater Astral Sea is not something that is very commonplace.
We could probably get a map at Tuneroth.
Either at Tuneroth or there are other stops also in the Astral Sea, one of which you could see kind of highlighted with generalized directions is called the Rock of Brawl, Bral, and it seems like it is the last like pointed stocking up point for anybody trying to go deeper into the Astral Sea. It looks like this is where, if you had any magic items that you wanted to either sell or acquire, or any crewmen that you wanted to gather, the Rock of Brawl would probably be your best bet as far as finding those things. There is a disclaimer and a warning, and it seems like this is a regrettable warning for the devils, in that the Rock of Brawl is a borderline lawless wasteland, in that it is a city of space pirates who police themselves. So most crime people don't bother with, because they trust themselves to not have crime happen upon them. And if they kill you after you pickpocket them and they turn to the guy and say, he stole from me, they're gonna be like, ah, nice, good job. Like, it is not the best place, and the warning there is unfortunate because it is devils writing this warning. They enjoy the Rock of Brawl. They think that it is a fun gambit, but they understand it is not for everyone.
So there's that. Before we head deeper into where we need to get, I think it'd probably be best if we kind of find a place to hire people. There's an entire weapons suite that's going unused with just the 4 of us.
I mean, that makes sense. How many people does it take to like actually run this thing?
We have room for 6 more people.
Okay. Do we tell them what they're signing up for?
I mean, that's the most decent thing to do, right?
Yeah. Just it's gonna be.
Do we want to hire random people? Do we want to go see if Bill and Ted want to go on an excellent adventure?
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
We know Bill and Ted. They're used to our antics.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, let's try and contact them.
Message.
Okay.
I can only... Are Bill and Ted one entity, or do I have to send one to one?
They do share a brain cell, but sadly are not targeted via the same sending.
I'll send a message to Bill. Bill, broski, are you ready to go on an adventure, most excellent? This is Caelum.
Caelum? No way. My guy! I will have to check with Ted. But that sounds most excellent. Where are you heading? Love, Bill.
Well, one more sending. On our way to Tuneroth. We'll see you soon. hope you like deep space.
Love deep space. Haven't been for some time. You can meet our old captain.
Oh,
He's the best. XOXOXOXO.
Bill and Ted have a captain friend they can introduce us to. You're
I
muted.
trust the Gith a lot
I
more
thought
than
you were the captain.
anybody we would hire.
Too many voices at once.
Sorry.
I trust the Gith a lot more than any of the random pirates that we would pick up at Brawl.
Mm-hmm. I feel more comfortable having someone at the helm who knows what they're doing and where they're going.
That too.
Well, Rife and I can vet them. I trust the Gith, of course, but they can be a little gullible, don't you think?
The Gith in general, or just Bill and Ted?
Just Bill and Ted, yes.
Well, I assume this old
I mean, they
captain
were
from-
in the Underdark, and they didn't seem to understand exactly what was going on down there.
But they survived, which is a great thing in their favor.
and they're fighters. They're trained to be out there.
You've
Oh.
seen them kill a man. Not like
I am not questioning their capability. Their judgment of character, maybe more so.
Well, when they say captain, their captain, I assume it's from their old hunting pack. You know how the Gith kind of have little caches around.
Mm.
We'll meet them first. If they don't gel, they don't gel. Well, kindly decline. Oh. You should all buckle up, Caelum says as he gets an idea.
Ah,
Use your words. Use more words than what you just gave.
Well, I could, in theory, magically modify myself to be quicker, which would give us more reaction time in combat. Essentially, Caelum's idea is to haste himself to be able to push the mechanical tyrant again with another dash action,
Please don't.
and then action surge to push again another dash action.
All right, so remember when Bridget was like, if you want to do any wild tests, you should do it near the facility that can easily repair.
That's an emergency move.
That's the emergency maneuver for sure.
Yeah, let me use words that Cori never would be able to. You cannot overclock a spaceship.
Oh no, he's overclocking himself.
So he
Oh,
can
no, no, no,
overclock
no,
the
no, no,
spaceship.
no. You
Listen.
are making yourself faster. Oh, God. Okay, so, like,
This
literally, this is my husband's a pilot. Like, you would be overspeeding the gear, okay? You cannot do this shit.
This is Tyrant 1, not Titan 1.
I want you to know
y'all.
that Tyler heard me say that and cackled from the other room.
It's okay, I just take a bunch of Adderall and I can see the code.
oh my god.
There is no Adderall for an airplane. No, sorry, carry on.
Out with that attitude. All right, so you let Bill and Ted know that you're coming. You have about like a day until you get there. I imagine during this time it's a lot more like testing the arm, like testing the claws. You don't really want to test the cannon. And Gwen, you're a little sad that you weren't the one to be able to hit the fire, but like you totally understand because there was a beholder in space that looked like a rock that should not have been there. That totally was, and that was almost a bad time. Also, Caelum talking about going way faster than necessary on this ship. I mean, you've already thrown up on yourself once this voyage. No one needs to know that it would happen again, but you'd rather it didn't. Either
Does-
way.
Does the mechanical tyrant come with its own like autopilot just to fly straight and
Yeah.
avoid stuff?
Yeah. It's basically like, I mean, if you put in just like go straight as like the last command for it, it'll keep going on the course that you set for it. But you don't have to just be like sitting there the whole time. You can idle about on the ship as well.
Caelum's gonna ask Gwen to play a game with him over the next couple of
Is this
days.
gonna be a fun game, or is this gonna be a game where I get, I don't know, I'm concerned, but I'm in.
Imagine the hold it has like less gravity, right? Or could we set that?
You can't really set the gravity. It seems like they're so when if you're on a
'Cause-
computer and you get to a point such as like the registry edit and it throws up a pop-up that's like, unless you know what you're doing, turn back around. That is not even an option here for things like oxygen and gravity, as they are linked together as an integral part of the ship that is not designed to be tinkered with. If Caelum, you want to spend the next couple of days like undoing floorboards to get into your oxygen supply, I mean, you can. But
I don't
feel
want
like
to get into the
rest of
oxygen
crew,
supply. My idea is zero-G dodgeball.
They are tied together in a way that cannot be separated.
We'll just play dodgeball the normal way then, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, actually, hold on. Reverse gravity is the floor.
Ah!
We're just floating.
Would we be on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Reverse gravity is not zero gravity.
Let me have my fun.
I feel like that's Cori telling Caelum from inside of the thing.
Let me have this sweet scene of me trying to play a game that is not life or death with my friends.
It's just Caleb getting beamed in the face over and over again.
But if it is zero gravity, when he gets hit, he just starts like,
Spinning backwards.
I'm not having fun anymore.
Oh, come on,
We-
Caleb.
Well, actually, at one point Arjhan does go out on the deck,
Mhm.
out on the hull, and just sort of goes off to the side, flies about 20 feet, like off to the side, free falls, passes through the gravity envelope, and it's just
Bungee jumping?
it's like what's going to happen is basically the same thing that you get in Portal if you put two portals and then you fall into
Yeah.
one, and he'll just be rubber banding back and forth.
Yeah. Incredible. And I feel like when y'all get close to Toonarath, like there's like there are some dragon riders that are able to kind of like see you and like kind of go over, and they like see like giant mechanical dragon thing emerging from the direction of hell space. They're gonna have a couple questions, but when you hail them, they know who you are. They are familiar with the Four Keeps, considering all that you have done for them in terms of like directing them in the direction of Illithid invasions, as well as helping out helping out Queen Vlaakith, going on separate hunting parties. Like the riders and the dragons here know you, as well as, you know, Rasa used to be a member of their collective. They have heard tales of your group, and they will help guide you in to Toonarath. And Toonarath is a much different city flying into it than it is kind of walking its streets, primarily because you do see that there is what looks to be a massive skull of some humanoid. I mean, humanoid in like facial structure where it has like the nose holes where it should be, eyes where humans would have, but there are like giant chains that wrap into those eye cavities to kind of keep it contained, and that's where Vlaakith has built her capital atop of, and it's a very imposing sight. Definitely flying into it, and you all have seen this before, but it still is just rather imposing every time that you go in. That being said, you're able to take the mechanical tyrant to the dock, get it stationed off. It seems that they are, at least the docks here at Tuneroth, are kind of keyed and tuned for a variety of shapes of Spelljammer, and your massive vessel is no exception. It seems like, and when it lands, like the legs sort of like sift up, the wings fold in. One of them actually extends out to be more of like a ramp down, like a gangplank, to get onto the dock itself. And when you arrive, as you had let Bill and Ted know that you were on your way, you see the two of them actually like wave you down. They have packs over their shoulders, their silver swords in sheaths that they carry over their shoulders as well. And just, "Hey, keeps!"
Bill, Ted!
And they make like a guitar motion with their arms.
Wait, do that again. Minor illusion to get this the poem.
I knew this was going to be an excellent adventure. Whoa. And like they are both just like very on board.
Most excellent, Bill and Ted.
It is good to see all of you in non-life-threatening circumstances. I know that the last time we all met, well, most of us met, it's pretty not cool stuff happened in the Underdark, to put it lightly. But we made it out. We're still alive, and doing our best. So what's like this super? Wait, and they sort of like tilt their ears, or tilt their heads. Captain's coming, and they look up. And the four of you look in the direction where they are, and you see what looks like a speck on a long end of a rope that comes sailing down. It looks like they were on some sort of like pulley trajectory. And as they come around and land, they're wearing a frillier shirt. You can see they have like a cutlass on the side, a big captain's hat, and they look like a rather strapping human from what you can see. And as they land, they do like that 3-point landing, and as they stand up, they bring their hat off and bow, and they say, they don't say but they say, "Skiznabat Navalar, at your..."
Oh.
"Baroness Lady Wolfenstein of the Doorstopper clan." And he comes up to you, Gwen. Comes down and takes your hand. I would recognize you behind a mask anywhere. And he like brushes a hand on the side of your face. Gives you a smooch. "I cannot thank you enough. Your embrace returned me back to my human form."
Oh, hey, how's it going?
"And you,
Yeah,
Rhonda Mumps of the Hot Dog Factory, it is good to see you as well. Jet, tell Revez, the Wandering Scholar. I never thought I would see any of you four again. The last time that we met, things got a little out of hand at that party, I will admit. I think I died, but I'm not really sure. But I no longer have noodle-like appendages. I have my regular fingies."
Oh, would you like to?
No. As much as people seemed to like the Flumph persona. I found it a little bit difficult. Bill, Ted, you didn't tell me that you knew Rhonda Mumps? And Bill and Ted just... I thought you said your name was Cori. Just what?
Yeah, let me clear a few things up here. We were in
Of course,
disguise at the party. I'm not actually a baroness. That's not even my real name. We were spies, kind of, on this adventure. My name is Gwen. I am the leader of the Tread Thunder clan from the material plane. But yeah, not who you... I'm sorry if I misled you. I am married.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it like an exclusive thing?
I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but we just kind of adopted a child, so we're gonna get through that phase first before we decide anything else.
Oh, you know what? Totally fine. I don't really know what to say. So if your name isn't Baroness Lady Wolfenstein of the Doorstopper clan, your name is actually Gwen Stompfoot, and your name is Cori and not Rhonda Mumps of the hot dog
Yes, I'm sorry.
factory.
I've never even seen a hot dog. I'm not even sure what it is.
Well, if we
Hellhound.
are on this vessel together long enough, I'm sure we'll find one. And well, I know both of these lovely individuals. I guess I don't really know either of you two. And he motions towards Caelum and Arjhan.
Oh, I wasn't lying. I am a wandering scholar, but my name is Caelum.
All right, that's actually easier for me to remember.
I am Arjhan. I am the owner of this vessel.
And what a fine vessel this is. It looks like a dragon.
By
That's-
design.
Look, I have been the captain of many a ship. This looks like it was made for both style and utility. Is that a cannon on the front?
Yes.
Incredible. Fine vessel. You are the owner, captain as well, or just owner?
Just the owner.
Okay. So still room
This-
for captaining then.
Yes.
Unless one of you is a captain, or if Captain Pod's just a jest. Also.
Well, I have experience as a helmsman and a navigator, but we don't have any formal training in anything.
In fact, our trip here was the first.
A maiden
And
voyage.
we have a very important voyage coming up, and we were looking to hire some capable individuals.
Well, if you're looking to hire some capable individuals, look no further. I, myself, am, I don't like to brag, the greatest wild space ship captain this side of Doomspace.
Well, we'll be the judge of that, Cori says. And as she does so, she's going to consult Rife on his character.
Okay. Yeah. Rife does not detect a lie in this. However, exclaiming that you are something exclaiming an opinion as a fact will still register an opinion for Rife. So when he's like, I am the greatest captain, she's like, well,
You're an idiot, but
I mean, he could be. As far as he knows, he's not lying. But from
Confidence is always good.
But it doesn't seem like there is like a magical glamour. He's not going to pull off his face and reveal that he was Shar in disguise the whole time. Like, it looks like this is just a guy, a rather handsome looking guy. He looks like the cover of a romance novel put into life because when Caelum gave him a humanoid body back, he based it off of the cover of a romance novel. So he has that very like Fabio-esque physique, which is the third character on Indoor Adventures that has been described as such. Shout out to my boys Hish, Ullman, and Ham. From
There
Saltmarsh.
is a moment of silence as she just sort of like raises her chin to him, sort of like looks him up and down, and then says, "Let us hope your competence is in as ample supply as your pride."
Oh,
And
I would
bosom.
assume so. You don't get to this level of pride without having survived as a flump, only to be reborn as an incredibly handsome man.
Cori's gonna give Arjhan a nod, like, he's on the up and up.
And Bill and Ted like high five each other in the background, because in their eyes it's like, oh, everyone's getting along, hooray! Now, I am available for hire. I will admit that. But I am willing to waive any adventuring fee that you might have and help you all along, mostly because you brought me, I don't have, as I described, little noodles for hands anymore. But I would ask one thing in exchange for my help. When I became a flump, my crew and I parted ways. If we could possibly go to the Rock of Brawl, that is where the rest of my crew are. The finest doctors, the greatest shipwrights, and an incredible cook as well. And I see that your crew is missing a very key feature. Doesn't look like you have a musician. My musician's on the Rock of Brawl as well.
I have 2 of them. I assume.
Oh, and Bill and Ted are just like, wait, yeah, no, we're musicians. He's like, but boys, you're not Calliope. And they are just, yeah, Calliope's great. Like, nod. Do you think they'd want to, like, join the band? So I assume that if we pick them up and get our crew back, and get my ship back, that's not a thing that you all have to worry about. Once I get the crew, we'll go on a daring heist and acquire a vessel from the Rock of Brawl, because stealing a ship isn't actually a crime there. I mean, it's frowned upon, but if you do it really cool, if the crime is really cool, people generally, they seem to be okay with it.
Yeah, just 1 second. We're just gonna
take your
confer.
time.
Yeah.
Speak amongst yourselves. I have a sun skimmer over here. It's a one-man ship that I could always take to the Rock of Brawl myself.
Well, we'll just
no, amongst yourselves.
We'll just step into my office.
Okay.
Bill,
I
Ted, tell me
need
that you knew
paperwork
these
for them
things.
anyway.
Thank God there's bottled water. Okay. Do we have time for that?
To go to the Rock of Brawl.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know how space travel works, but things seem pretty far.
Would we be heading in that direction
We passed
otherwise?
by the Rock of Brawl to get to here.
Did we?
No, we have to go to the Rock of Brawl to get out.
Yeah.
We have to go to the Rock of
Hmm.
Brawl to get out, so it's on the way.
Okay.
We'd probably be stopping for supplies anyway.
I mean, I'm down to collect people, I guess. I thought there might be a fight for a second there,
Please.
but no, probably not.
We've never made port and gotten into any trouble.
No, I'm pretty sure we've made port and gotten
Yeah.
into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, a Rask.
Hmm.
That was pretty trouble-esque.
Well,
Nice.
let's be fair. We weren't just making port in our ask. We were making a small business. And we simulated that for several weeks.
Shh, don't bring up the Sima. She points to Caelum.
Sima.
That's
Are we
where
making two?
Simulacrum you died.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah. Good times. Anyways, so yes.
To be fair, I also died. And that was actually me.
Oh yeah.
I think Olivia told me the story of how you stuffed Cori's body in a bag of holding.
Oh my god, we totally did that. Wow, that must have, it feels like years ago.
You do what you have to.
It's a living.
Just a bunch of jaded adventurers. Just like, hey, remember that time you died and we stuffed you in a bag? Be like, oh my god, things were simple back then.
Right?
Easiest solution.
Look, okay. So yes on this. How many people do we want to? Do we need a musician? I famously don't like bards.
I don't know, but Bill and Ted are recommending them, and I trust Bill and Ted's taste.
Well, now that I think of it, we have been rather spoiled with Gideon as of late, and I don't know if we all understand exactly what we're going to be giving up when we're traveling for time on end without their amenities. What I'm
Fair.
saying is having a cook and what else did he want to pick up? A musician and
A doctor?
Doctor.
a doctor.
That sounds important, yeah.
It sounds important.
A helms.
All right.
He had suggested his first mate and cook. They are one and the same. A doctor, the shipwright, to do general repairs, a helmsman, navigator, and musician. That is his crew that he is looking to pick up. He also wants his own vessel, so you would not have to worry about accommodations in your ship. He would basically be going along with you.
Cool. I mean, that sounds good to me. I just want to make sure. Sometimes I come to quick conclusions and they're not the right answer.
No, this one's correct.
All right.
So we'll be hiring a crew to not crew our vessel.
They will crew your vessel, but they are also acting as guides. So they will have their own ship and it'll go, like, can interact between the two, essentially.
We're gonna travel as a fleet, essentially.
Yeah.
We do need to fill them in on where we're going and what we're doing.
Yeah, it's in the packet, and Arjhan he's putting
cool.
together an actual
An onboarding document.
Yeah.
3-page classified set of plans and everything.
Oh, Arjhan, do you want the non-disclosure agreement for this one, or do you think it'd be all right to just go without?
Disclosure is fine.
Okay.
Can I do the sexual harassment seminar?
We didn't bring any bananas.
That's all right. I've got enough gestures to cover it.
What?
So first page, standard. People might die. It's only on there twice. Second page is actually where we're going, who we're fighting, tentative plans, and their compensation, which hasn't been fully filled in yet because we still have to negotiate. Yep.
Okay.
But most of the details are actually on there.
Cool. Next time, can you ask them to put those the crispy potato things that they had that one time in here?
Let's keep it a bit. Well, people are working remote.
Yeah.
I can't get them to come back in the office.
I mean, who would want to? We're only here out of necessity.
But I'm already paying for the room. I want it to be used.
That's fair. Maybe we can have a pizza party. I hear people love that.
What's pizza?
So young.
Said to the dude who looks like he's like 400 years old.
All right. Okay. Good to go?
Yeah, all right.
All right, would y'all like to step into my office?
Yes. And you can see that, like, in the process of you being in the office and then poking your head back out, Skiznabat has, like, he's got his gear all ready. He's got, like, his cutlass, a pistol, a rifle. He's loading up on anything that he could possibly need.
If negotiations are going to take a while, do you want me to step out and check out the general store to see if there's anything we can pick up here?
Sure.
You don't need me for the sexual harassment thing yet? I'll go with Caelum.
We have slides.
I can't show those anymore.
I worked really hard on those.
I think they were a little too graphic.
I'm sorry, are there going to be slides? Also, why would I harass somebody
slides, but...
I'm attracted to?
Gwen, we may need you, actually.
Okay, I'll stay. Caelum, if they have any, like, honey candy.
Do you want the hard stuff or like a taffy honey sort of thing?
Something I can suck on for a while. That's not... We'll go over that.
You were referring to a hardened sweet.
Good. Okay, you know what? Points. You can be my assistant.
Oh, wonderful. Skiznabat will sidle on up.
Show us on the flump where they touched you.
Stop. So Arjhan is going to go through, like, hey, Caius, bad thing.
Okay.
Plane breaker, possibly good thing that may be sort of going in that direction. We might be following up on it. We might not. There, Caius, worms, bad. We will trap. We need to get close enough to trap.
And I think Skiznabat, like, while he's listening to this, is like, he's really taking it, like, he understands the danger that he is getting into. And Bill and Ted are just like, we're in peril all the time. Like, we get out just fine. And I think he has, like, he senses the gravitas of the situation as a whole, and sort of, like, kind of calms them in a way that you have not seen many individuals be able to do with Skiznabat or with Bill and Ted. And he says, lads, if we sail towards this dark star, this Caius, this could be our final voyage. Are you prepared for that? And they look and just... Well, it can't be our final voyage, because, I mean, like, we're going to tour, like, right after this. And he's like, that's the spirit. Focus on what you're going to do after all of this is done. And he pats one on the chest and says, hold on to it. As for me, while it may have been done under falsified pretenses as part of a what seems like it's straight out of the pages of a spy novella, I do owe at least 2 of you my life. Not that I wouldn't say all 4, but from what I gathered, only one of you crushed me so hard I exploded, and the other... honestly, I have to get a lot of pictures redone because this is chiseled. I like this. My crew are the kind of people who understand when a debt is to be owed and paid in full. You brought me, in your own ways, back from being a spokesperson in the city of Sigil to putting the non-wind back into my sails. I don't just owe you my life, I owe you my spirit of adventure as well. And if that adventure takes us into the heart of unimaginable terror, just imagine the stories they'll tell, huh? And you can't put a price on a good story. Actually, you can't support the writer's strike, but that's besides the point. Where do you need me to sign?
Sorry, the wrong one. Right here.
He gives a big flourish as his signature appears onto the paper. And Bill and Ted, his is like a very flouncy, practiced signature. And Bill and Ted are still not really used to writing in common. And it's like, they don't really want to write in Gith language because they don't know how it would translate if they wrote in a different language than what the contract was on. So they are just like whereas he is a very flouncy, theirs is like gripping the pen and like carving their names into the paper. But all three of them sign.
Great.
Now, I will take a step back from being captain, should you so choose. I am not the greatest of helmsmen. That is why we would need Thora, my helmsman, back in the days, and fantastic, wonderful woman. But if you need somebody to sit in the big chair and know when people need to get into position, it was a fine job. And I will gladly take that burden upon my shoulders until one of you captains this ship, or I captain my own vessel once again. But I defer all decision-making to you, unless it is a time of war, in which case if members of my crew are present, I would specifically ask to hold rank. Good. And he sort of like leans into you, Arjhan. Bill and Ted were originally stowaways on my vessel, and then they proved quite useful in terms of being crewmen. But if you want to consider them your crew, you can. Not that I don't want them. They're lovely boys.
That's fine. Look, honestly, I don't know how these two have survived this long, but
it's a miracle.
They have. I want them as a good luck charm.
You can't separate them. They are, and like they look over and like Bill is like using like a silvered knife to like get a hangnail that he had. I'm just not going to think about them. But boys, let's go find a place for you to rest on the vessel, eh? And they, Bill yells dibs top bunk without even knowing if there are bunks currently installed in the crew quarters. But that does not seem to deter them. As if they are allowed, they will exit the room and begin investigating, looking around the mechanical tyrant.
Are we going to be heading out immediately from here, or was there any status check that we needed to do with Bridget or
they would have
resupply or anything?
I would say as far as resupply, you didn't utilize any of your onboard supply, so you still have all of your cannonballs, you still have it was only a couple days of food, so you don't look like you're at risk of at risk of running out anytime soon. And all things considered, because it would have taken several days to get there, you could contact Bridget and give them a status update and like, yeah, everything is still where it should.
Logistic question.
Yeah.
Can I remote call my summer season back to me? And then like resummon her, or do we need to go back for her?
Wait.
Roll a religion check.
Okay. Swear to God. Okay, here it is. I'm rolling it. Supposed to be rolling it. Roll it. 19.
A 19. I will say that with a 19, you would know that you would just need to establish some form of communication, and then they would be able to return to you. You don't need to physically be there, but if you, for example, were to initiate a sending through Caelum, as he is wont to do with his contact abilities, that you could return your summer form to you that way. But it is not a perfect return.
What does that mean?
Well, the 19, you would know that it's not perfect, is what that means. So effectively, there might be memories that are missing. There might be interactions that they aren't necessarily aware of, that sort of thing. And that is very similar to if you try and, say, contact other planes, which you are in another plane right now from the material plane. There is the chance that it shoots off into a different direction than you had initially thought, which could also have ill-intended consequences. But you do know that you could possibly remote bring them back.
All right. I'm willing to try that.
Okay.
Because this is probably the only time I ever will.
Sure. When Caelum comes back from his restock trip, you will be more than happy to do so, unless you have another means of casting sending to yourself.
No, I don't think I do.
Okay.
Caelum.
Caelum's holding two small pouches.
I was going to say, Caelum, what kind of things did you get?
Well, we are still stocked up. And
Still relatively stocked up, yeah.
So he's getting like road snacks.
Okay. For sure. Yeah, I would say that on Tunarath, you would have seen, it's essentially like a discount grocer where it has like all of
like a Dollar Tree.
No, not even that. It's like out here we have what's called grocery outlet, and it's all of the snacks that don't sell well in the bigger stores. So it's one of those things where you'll see like, oh, these are like chickpea flavored sweet potato fries. Not really sure why these aren't selling that well. Or like, oh, this is a chip flavor, like again, where it's like, you don't really want wasabi Pringles, but like you'd probably find some there. Like it's like really like off the wall, like not very common salty snacks that you would find.
It's the off-brand 7-Eleven stuff.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Disappointed.
Like it's like kettle chips, but from the brand called Chips, but with like 2 P's in it.
And a Z.
2 P's and a Z, and like they're a little bit more greasy than
It's
you want.
Oots. UTZ.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Specifically, Gwen had made a request for hard candies.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure it's like the Bean Boozled stuff
Yeah.
for hard candies.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like it's not really anyone's first choice, but at the price, I mean, you might as well.
Just gets like a bag of it. He's walking back on the ship, looking at one of the little wrappers. Clay flavored. Oh, that's really clay flavored.
Yep. It tastes like earth.
Hey,
Yeah.
are you eating dirt?
No, it's hard candy. He'll reach into the bag and get another clay flavored. Ah.
Oh. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Cori,
Mm-mm.
I have a question for you. Is
Mm-hmm.
snozberry a Feywild flavor?
Bleh.
Bleh.
Technically, yes.
Hmm.
It was bioengineered in the Feywild,
Oh.
but it was originally a
That's
type
a
of wallpaper.
sentence. I gotta rewrite some shit. Hold on.
I didn't know you had labs in the Feywild.
Yeah, that just became a season 2 problem.
That sounds cool as shit.
Listen, you gave me control over the Feywild. I'm gonna fucking
Bioengineered in the
pull some
Feywild.
triggers. Yes, it was technically bioengineered in the Feywild, but it was originally a type of wallpaper.
That was a great time for my camera to go fuzzy. As Caelum thinks about the logistics of asbestos flavored candy.
Look, you ever had paint chips? They're basically like potato chips.
My understanding was that it was an attempt to make flavored wallpaper, but
Huh.
the snozberry just kind of came about.
Given this disturbing new news, how can I help you?
Oh, would you help me with ascending?
Sure. But who to?
Myself.
Okay.
Summer season, please, not spring.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this is a new form of talking to yourself. I'm very supportive, but now it makes more sense. What do you wish for me to tell them?
Return to sender as soon as possible, please.
Address unknown, no such number, no such zone.
She'll know what I mean.
All right. Sending. Summer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please, 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 Summer, because if it's spring,
Olivia will be
We're going-
alone.
well, we're going to have problems. I'm
Summer,
doing this whole thing so that we don't have to land. And if spring does come
Caelum
here,
just
I
reaches over
will
and
have to insist.
pinches the top and bottom of Cori's lips together. Summer Coriander, original Cori says, return to sender. She says, you'll know what that means. Goodbye.
It's about
Undoes.
bloody time.
Rude that they consider themselves the primary Cori, but sure. Roll a D100 for me.
This is not where I intended. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, what's that? Uh-oh.
Wings is rubbing their face.
Oh, I'm just tired.
Oh, okay. Wait, is it me sending the
Yeah.
D100? Or...
Yeah, because you were the one
Yeah,
casting
you're
the
the one
sending.
We're
Oh,
doing the sending.
it would probably be a lot better if I just establish connection that doesn't have a roll. It's just a saving throw.
Oh, this isn't part of that. This is something else.
Oh, good. Hey,
Yeah.
52.
52. Okay, good. That's in. Look, that's the better side of things.
Is it good?
Yes. A 25 and lower would have been an interesting time. So 50 and above.
Large
great.
margin.
Large margin. So yeah, Caelum, as you process this before, or as you process this, you feel like from that connection point, there is a wave of consciousness that rushes through you. And in this moment, you are flooded with dozens of conversations with bears that you, not being able to speak Sylvan, don't really understand. And some of those conversations that you feel coming from your mouth aren't actually your mouth. That's Cori's mouth. Why are you speaking with Cori's mouth? Why is Cori speaking bear? Why are there so many bears here? You remember the Bear Island. And as that wave passes by, you see like this summery gold, this brilliance go back into Cori. And Cori, hey, summer form is back. Caelum, you still have a solid 3 hours of talking to bears that will never leave. You have gained a new core memory today.
Caelum looks at both of the Cories with like this sort of deadpan face and just and then there's just blood pouring down his mouth.
Oh no, are you okay?
There's just
What
a little
happened?
patch of like brown hair.
Just fur.
Bears.
Lay on hands. Don't tell mom.
Bears. Unbearable. Bears. Caelum starts saying things in Sylvan.
But it's just like, it's just bear phrases.
Did we break him? What happened?
Slap my salmon and call me Smokey.
Something along those lines.
Only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can prevent florist fryers.
Is he going to be okay?
Potato
Skizznabat
french
says.
fries.
Is he bleeding? I mean, we haven't even gone on the adventure yet. Do you want to bring the bleeding boy?
This happens sometime. Caelum, smack. Jump smack.
Gwen, I brought you
Hey, bud.
candy.
Oh, thanks, bud.
The clay flavored one tastes like dirt.
Okay, thanks. You did a good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Bill and
Thank you,
Ted both. Bill shrugs and Ted just, oh, clay flavor! And he goes over and like takes one.
I'm gonna
This is from Red Rocks.
go sit down.
Do you need some healing?
No, I'm good. And as Caelum turns, there's like a bit of blood dripping down his ear as he walks away.
What
Sounds
the
good.
fuck just happened?
That's your helmsman?
Oh, normally he's not like this. Normally he's a super powerful wizard, and sometimes things go a little like squishy. Just for a bit, he'll be fine.
Wizard things. I get it.
Yeah.
Not my proclivity, but
Towers and stuff, you know. Okay. You guys, are we finished everything up? Should we get back on the ships?
Who's
Are we
cooking
telling
toast?
Oh no.
I think I'm gonna go over there and do some healing.
That's an excellent job, Rhonda. Yes.
Is there a medical station like anywhere like here?
Yeah.
Like, do we need to spend some time here?
You don't necessarily need to spend some time here, especially because you do have the makings of a med bay in your ship as well. And it seems like Caelum more just has like, he's a little addled, but he hasn't taken any actual damage. He just seems like, you know, there are memories that got inserted into his brain that aren't his, but are actually Cori's. And they all have to do with the island of bears free floating in the middle of the sea of burning night.
There's so many like just like ambient thoughts of Oliviette. Just like how great she is and how smart she is. And gosh, I'm so glad that she's my girlfriend.
Wow. I wish Olivia
She's my
was
wife
here.
now. That's great.
She would have tons of fun around all these bears.
Caelum rushes out of the med bay, grabs Cori by the lapels. Did you get married?
Somewhere else? Another
You-
time?
You
Another
got married
place?
and you didn't tell us.
Another season. Listen, it's not eloping if you tell someone.
You all seem like you have a lot to talk about. I'm going to go get the show on the road, unless anybody really wants off the ship right now, in which case, seems like there's a spell circle downstairs as well. What does that door go to? It seems like it's a door.
It's a secret.
Secret door. Incredible. Love that. Love this ship. Oh, what do you call this fine vessel? I didn't see a name on the side in fun lettering or anything.
What
There is
color
not
is
one
it?
yet.
Oh. Your
What color is
workshop.
the vessel?
It's
It's like a dark metal that's a shiny oil slicky color.
oil black, like gunmetal.
The great, no, not chrome.
It's black and
Obsidian
pearlescent.
Tyrant.
No,
No.
no. That
Yeah.
was my dad's name.
Oh shit.
That
let's-
sounds like even more to unpack. Into the cabin with me.
Let me go look up horse names.
It's black and pearlescent. I don't want to name it the Black Pearl, but it's there.
It's right there.
I was gonna say the Obsidian Wing, but I think that's also a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon.
Hey,
Red Eyes
hey.
Black Meteor Dragon.
Kunai with chain.
Best name for a ship.
I do want to take an hour or two to just swing by Ross's.
Yeah, for sure. Ross's place, it looks a lot more barren than last you remember, because she's been living in the cave outside of her stain and has been in the process of like taking most of her stuff there. It seems like she really enjoys that place, and also because, you know, she works for Tiamat now, she's kind of relocating to the Hells, but there's still some stuff, and I would say, for the sake of the scene, that when you arrive, there are Abishai that are like carrying boxes, and she's just sort of like pointing at them like, oh, no, that one has some very delicate glassware in it, so try not. Oh, you dropped it. Amending can fix that. That's fine. Oh, hi.
Hi.
I didn't expect to see you here. Sorry, everything's a mess.
And Arjhan will go down and cast Mending, because I have that spell. I never use it, but I have it.
Oh, you are so nice. You are so great. They were going to be in a lot of trouble. Not like because I wanted to put them into a lot of trouble, but because like I would have to file that with magic insurance people to get it repaired. Moving sucks. I don't like moving. This is why I have a horde.
I mean, I didn't want to make you move from your home. That's the whole having a second home kind of thing. But
No. Well, you didn't force me to move. I like being where I can see you easier. And I also like living somewhere that's not as much of a commute to my current job, which, I mean, that was the end goal, right? Was to eventually move from here to the Hells, but it's just, it happened a little bit. I have more stuff than I thought that I did. Do you ever have that when you're like cleaning out the back part of your cave and suddenly it's like, oh, that old war trophy that I remembered getting like 100 years ago. I thought I'd lost it, or I thought that somebody else had won it in a barter. It turns out it was just under some stuff. Really nice stuff.
yeah, most of that is probably at the bottom of the bag of holding and will not be found for a while. Anyway, we just flew in from the Hells. Actually,
You flew here?
we took the long way around the
Scenic
wild
route.
spacing way.
Are you tired?
No,
Or
I
do-
have we have a vessel. We're going after Caius. And Bill and Ted are coming.
The boys. Treat them well. It is a wonder that they have survived this long. But the gods seem to smile upon them.
I agree. Which is why I want to make sure whatever dumb luck they've been having, it happens for the rest of us.
No, that is, yes. I think that's a smart call. Captain? Are you captain?
I'm not the captain. I'm the owner, but I'm not the captain.
Well, that's better than being captain, because captain can leave, but you'll still have the ship. What does it look like? Does it have like a big sail on it? Does it have
I mentioned
is it one of those scorpion ones?
it's a custom design. I mentioned a while back the whole Talayan thing and the body.
Right.
Well, the body is the frame for this vessel.
Are you okay with that? I mean, it would probably be a little cathartic if the ship got injured or damaged at all. Maybe?
Maybe. That's why I haven't named it.
From what you've told me about yourself, it took you a while to find your name. But you found the right name. It's all right if naming something takes a while. Because at the end of the day, it's yours. I think regardless, even if you make it all the way to fight Caius and come back, even if you didn't give it a name, you'll have found one on the way. One that fits. Just look at Verstein. From what you've told me, it was a small mountain town. But when you named it, it took on a life of its own. And maybe that's what the ship is needing. Is that once it gets a name, it'll help feel different. Or I might be completely wrong, but
No, you're right. Mostly, I don't want to get too attached to it, just in case it does get damaged. We're headed to the Rock of Brawl to find some more crew for the ship and another ship. How long are we expecting it to be?
from here, Rock of Brawl is about a 3-day journey.
But past that,
Past that, from leaving Tunarath, your trip will be 35 days in total. So you will be traveling for, well, a little over a month.
I'll have the opportunity to come back to Bastain every now and then, but if you would like to join, I could use someone with actual experience.
I don't know if this will be the first time that I'll have said this, because honestly, the night before we fought Orcus, my memory is a little cloudy of things that I was saying, because what you said was really nice. I will follow you to the ends of whatever world, space system, star field that lies before you. If there are enemies that stand in your way, I will see them burned to a crisp. If there are those who would try and strike you down, my hide is tough. I know you don't need protection. After watching you dispatch an Archduke of the Hells in less than 30 seconds, I think that there are a lot of things that rather need protection from you in the most non-threatening way possible. But what I'm trying to say is I would love to. I would love to travel with you. If you would have me. And if ever you think that it's too dangerous, again, I did see you. I did watch that whole fight.
Hand up to the what part of her jaw I would actually be able to reach.
There is just the, like, you can tell, like, there's, like, the anxiety just releases upon just a touch.
And just muzzle to muzzle. Always. Always, Russell.
And she stands a little bit taller. Chest out a little bit more so than normal, as she sort of preens at this gentle moment between her and someone that she's awfully fond of. And in a very militaristic voice, she barks at the Abishai and says, "If any of you drop my things, you know who I report to. Do not make me give you, as a moving company, a poor review. Because if I do, not only will you have to deal with the Queen's wrath, you are familiar with the Herald?" And she points towards you, Arjhan, and they all just like, "Okay, so instead of 2 people per box, it's 3 people per box. Let's go." And like they like immediately, like, they were already in a good line. This, like, just your presence and her being like, "I got connections, don't fuck with me." That and being an adult red dragon certainly helps her position. But it seems that combined, your commanding presence is very strong. And I imagine that, like, returning from the caverns, like, she would be able to fly with you, going to the dock. Skiznabat is like rubbing his hands. He's like, "All right, so we have Bill and Ted." "Yes, I know, boys. All of you. Arjhan said he was picking up another or was going to talk to another crew member. Do you know who he could be? And there is just like a boom as this red dragon falls down. Just, hi, Rasa, and she extends just a giant claw. What are you doing? Didn't you get promoted? I did. I am here to help. And
Rasa!
she just like waves towards the rest of the group. And just, is she part of the crew?
No, this is my girlfriend. No, this is my mate.
And Rasa just like gets this look like, he introduced me as his mate to his friends. She's very excited. And as you say this, she nods towards the captain and says, I am Arjhan's mate, Rasa. I am commander of the 3rd Legion in the Hells, and it is a pleasure to be part of this journey. Adventure. I haven't had an adventure in a long time. It's usually missions, and they usually end in fire, which is a good thing where I'm considered. And Skizzenbat just has a hearty laugh as he looks at what he believes is like his makeshift crew, this ragtag group of heroes, and a full-sized red dragon. He has good faith in where this adventure is going to go. And as we sort of pan out from the scene, him laughing, the rest of the crew being there, and Rasa just sort of like sidling up a little bit closer to Arjhan as your crew gets ready to depart to the Rock of Brawl, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So I'd like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. This was an absolute blast of a game. God, I've missed this crew, and it didn't take us that long, maybe, to get back into form, at least on my end. But with that being said, I love and appreciate everybody who just stopped by, and I love and appreciate everybody at this table. Speaking of which, RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. You can catch me at RJustice22 on Twitter and other places. I normally retweet whenever I go live, so if you want to see me in other games, especially if you want to see a good boy who's trying his best on Saturdays, a himbo barbarian druid on Thursdays, and slightly unhinged Romeo from Romeo and Juliet on Sunday mornings, come check out my Twitter. It'll be great. We found out my wife's still alive in that game. TonakeUner.com.
Thank you. Hi, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches, where we're almost to 500 followers. We are going to be doing a giveaway when we hit that, where you can enter to win an item from our newly launched merch store. So if you want to see that stuff, check it out. Next time I'm going to be live is, well, and you'll get a Steam gift card. But the next time I'm going to be live is tomorrow on GGK. We are doing our Stars Without Numbers game, where I play a space mermaid who has robot legs, who has been turned into a human, and everyone can hear her sarcasm now, and it's really fun because everything she says is sarcastic. You just couldn't hear it through the modulator. After that, I'll be live on Friday, probably, at least Lauren will, and then we'll be back on Sunday for Playthings of the Gods, which we had a mini promo for in the middle of this game. They are fighting the god Mask in a demiplane. It's going to be fun. They're super hurt. They just got done fighting shadow versions of themselves, and it was a really great game. So if you missed that, check it out. It'll be on the YouTubes probably tomorrow, and then or you can just watch it on Twitch. But yeah, that's me, LBHackEmUp. TodayKeto.com.
Wait, I'm Cyber. I go play games on Cyberwolf1201 here on Twitch. I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom. We're ready to finish the game, but we're going to do a whole bunch of side adventures to get all the juicy lore. Twitter's still alive, right? Or can we still not see tweets? I don't know. I'm not on Threads, so don't look for me there. DenakeHunter.com.
Yo, speaking of DenakeHunter.com, that's me. You can find me at DenakeHunter.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at DenakeHunter on Twitter. I've got a pinned tweet there. You can see my schedule and all the things that I'm up to. So go check it out, DenakeHunter.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Mondays. Yay! I can say it again. It felt really weird not saying that we do shit on Mondays. And currently Sundays. Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Sundays at 3, where next Sunday we will be starting our second mystery in our Apocalypse Keys game run by our very own Sarah Hype Goblin. It has been a fantastic game so far. Check it out. I know that part of the flub earlier that audiocast listeners you super missed out on earlier was showing a little bit of that intro, but it's a really good time. I would highly recommend checking it out. There's some great folks working on that. But that is it. That is where you can find me for right now until I get roped into some other one-shot or game on a day that I am free or a time slot that I am free. So until then, for right now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself, or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us at patreon.com/indooradventures, and you can find the answers to those questions. Best place to ask them, of course, is going to be the Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side, or in the description of this video or audiocast down below. Or you can find me on the burnt remains of Twitter, or hey, I'm also on Blue Sky. And if you do find me on Blue Sky, you'll notice that the domain is slightly different because I have a little thing I've been working on in the background. So hey, maybe something fun's gonna happen with that. And I know that I say that a lot, but hey, I mean it this time because I'm paying money for it. So with that, we are going to be heading out for the evening. Thank you all for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!